Let me start by indicating that as a department, I mean, I'm representing government here. We must give some background on the ratification of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, which was ratified back then in 1995. And many people are not aware that this convention was the very first convention that was ratified under the first democratically elected president, the late Tata Mandela. So you can see the special love that he had for children. So coming back to today's 30th anniversary of the UNCRC, yes, as a department coordinating for now, we felt it very important to create a platform for children to express their concerns. And of course, I think simply one can just indicate that we had our political leadership, of course, led by our Minister, Lindiwe Zulu, who is the Member of Parliament. It's a work in progress. Actually, there's going to be a continued engagement on the issues that has been raised by the children. And what is interesting is not only the Department of Social Development that is very affected here. I really appreciated the expression by one of the chairpersons from the Select Committee who mentioned that it's more an inclusive process, meaning many departments are involved here. You have justice, finance, agriculture. It's a collective. So as a coordinating department, we'll have to harness or strengthen our coordination, ensuring that all the affected departments come to the game. And of course, the children have expressed the fact that one of the things that we need to strengthen is ensuring the oversight responsibility. And I think they've been very vocal about that to say we need to ensure that it must be given the executive authority. That is, the location should be in the presidency. Those are the children who has expressed that.
Yeah. And I think that on its own raises questions around the unit that is responsible for children within the Department of Social Development itself. How effective is that unit? I mean, for the fact that children say that there hasn't really been any progress since their issues were moved from the presidency to the social development, it certainly says that there is not much that the unit is doing. What is that particular unit doing?
Well, I think, to be honest, the unit that is now within the Department of Social Development has been weakened by virtue of it's now unable to coordinate other departments. And simply because, within Department of Social Development, there's confusion. Other departments are saying, how do you coordinate us, whereas you are more on social or welfare-related issues. So the unit is very, very limited in terms of exercising or oversight on other departments. So it's very limited, if I may just put it that way.
But what needs to happen? Why is government itself not getting its house in order? Because at the end of the day, it is government. It may be different departments. One would have thought that there is that gelling that happens between the different departments. Why is it not happening whereas it's one government?
Well, I think I must also indicate that, this that I'm expressing here is more administrative, and the configuration of government is more a political, competency. And I'll imagine, I think it needs to be addressed also from a political point of view. And that will address the administrative weaknesses or challenges that we are facing.
So how do we ensure that we do not just engage in discussions such as this one on days such as today? How do we keep the discussion on children ongoing on a daily basis?
Well, we have created a platform. We've got what we call the National Children's Rights Intersectoral Coordinating Committee, where government departments are meeting, and civil society is also part of that. So quarterly we meet, and of course, we also have a platform where children are expressing their opinions. For instance, annually we host what we call the Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament. This time around we'll be meeting in Pietermaritzburg. It's a rotational program where each province
why does it happen? Why does it happen only once a year? There's a unit that exists 365 days a year. but you only get to have gatherings such as this one just once a year. And which children do you target? Do you go to your deepest rural areas where problems are much more prominent?
Well, that's a fair question as to who are the children, how do we select these children? We make sure that, because we work with our provincial Office on the Rights of the Child that are located within the Premier's offices, we emphasize the importance of making sure that we must get a fair mix. When we encourage provinces to participate or get children, they must make sure that they also go into those rural areas. And of course, one other important criteria is that of a racial mix. But now, coming back to your question as to why is it looks like it's more of an event, it happens only once in a while. Actually, it's work in progress. We must admit that our child participation is not at that level where we can say it's perfect. We've got what we call the child participation framework, which starting from next year, the financial year, starting from April, we want to roll it out. In other words, we want to get children speaking their opinions from the ward levels. From there, they must go to the locals, districts, and provincial. So it's a work in progress. So we think for now we will get it right.
All right. So in a nutshell, you agree with children that the Department of Social Development hasn't been that effective. So we wait and see what happens from the next financial year. And David Chabalala, Director for Child Rights Advocacy, joining us live from our studios in Sea Point. We thank you so much for your time.